Hey everybody, welcome to part three, the third video um, in this module for nutrition and weight management. In this video, I'll be talking about weight management, the weight management portion of the PowerPoint slides. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, obesity is very prevalent in the United States, in America. Almost 70% of Americans are carrying enough excess weight to put them at risk for many diseases and even death. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, and cancer. And a lot of it is due to how much exercise you perform and the foods that you eat. Um, and we'll talk about how we can manage your weight. Um, First, you need to understand what happens when it comes to you gaining weight or losing weight. And it's all based on energy. And what I mean by that, energy, think of the way we measure energy is based on calories from the food that we eat and the beverages that we consume. So a lot of people might call this calorie balance, and it's the relationship between your calorie input and your calorie output. Um, calories produce energy, and energy balance, again, calorie balance is equal to the calorie input minus calorie output. It's the same thing. So think of energy and calorie in this slide in particular are interchangeable. Um, so if I'm trying to gain weight, then um, I need to burn, or excuse me, I need to consume more calories than I expend. If I need to lose weight, if I want to lose weight, I'll need to expend, excuse me, I'll need to expend or burn more calories than I consume. So if you're trying to maintain your weight, then um, you want the amount of calories in equal roughly the amount of calories you burn, you expend. So energy input refers to energy from consumed food and drinks. Energy output refers to the amount of calories burned by your body, includes normal metabolism, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. Your basal metabolic rates. When you're at rest, you are burning calories because your body is going through your heart's pumping. You might be digesting food, you're breathing. All that time you're burning some calories and they add up. Um, and of course, you do burn calories through activity. So here is the slide to calculate your basal metabolic rates. And like I mentioned in the assignments video, when it came to this assignment for you all to calculate your basal metabolic rate, it's based on your weight, your height, your gender, your age. But the number you see once you calculate it is to approximately how many calories you burn at rest. You're not taking into account of exercise or any type of physical activity. If you're at home, in bed, laid out, if you're sick, maybe, well, if you're sick, you would be burning a little more calories. But if you're at home, you're at rest, you're not doing anything for the day, then that's approximately how many calories you're burning that day. Um, let's see. So managing your weight. The most effective way to assess one's eating habits is by performing a 10-day nutritional intake analysis. So if y'all have ever gone to see a registered dietitian or a nutritionist, they will likely have you complete this. Maybe a 5-day, a week long, or 10-day nutritional intake to get a synopsis a summary of what you are consuming and how much you are consuming on an average day or week. So yeah, I'm having you all complete a 3 day to kind of see. Sometimes it helps to write it out and visually see. Okay, I'm consuming this many calories a day. Maybe I should cut back a little bit in the future. Okay, so sometimes that might be an eye opener, but it's just an activity for you all to do. So let's see. When it comes to if you're trying to lose weight, a safe and maintainable goal for weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. It might not seem like a lot, but safety is very important because if you just go on a fast, um, then I mean people fast for different reasons, but um, basically you don't want to starve yourself without any kind of nutritional intake for a long period of time because that's where you can be you can cause harm to your body and you don't want that to happen. And it's important to maintain it. If you're if you're if you're starving yourself, then for a week to lose, and you're trying to lose 10 pounds in 1 week, and then the next week you go back to eating, then you're probably going to gain that weight back, if not more. So it's got to be maintainable and safe as well. So make sure y'all know this number. That safe and maintainable goal for weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. Not 5 to 6, not 9 to 10, but 1 to 2 pounds per week. And weight loss requires a negative energy balance, which again, you want to be in a caloric deficit, which means you consume less calories than you expend, than you burn. So that's how you lose weight. It's not about how much fat you consume. It's not about how much protein you consume. It's not about how many carbohydrates you consume. But it's down to calories. That's how you lose weight. Okay. Since a negative energy balance of 3,500 calories is needed to lose 1 pound, that means you should set your daily goal of 500 calories below your base caloric need. So if I if my BMR, if I know I burn roughly 2,500 calories a day from exercise and my BMR, everything involved, and I'm trying to lose weight, I should consume roughly 2,000 calories a day because in a week time, I will have lost 1 pound of weight because 3,500 calories equal 1 pound of weight. Make sure y'all know this. 3,500 calories equal 1 pound of weight. That will definitely be on your test. Here's a pie chart showing you the different percentages of how much you should consume that macronutrient daily. So 10 to 35% of my calories should come from protein. 20 to 35% of my calorie intake should come from fats, and 45 to 65%, which is the most, largely because carbohydrates' main function is the body's primary source of energy. So yeah, make sure y'all know these numbers. This will be on the test. Make sure y'all know these values and the range too. So 10 to 35% protein, 20 to 35% fats, 45 to 65 is carbohydrates. Let's see. Okay. The importance of physical activity. If you're physically able to exercise and you're trying to lose weight, well, not just trying to lose weight, but also in general, exercise is very important. Physical activity is very important for many different reasons, but especially for if you're trying to lose weight. To maintain your weight, work your way up to 150 minutes of moderately intense activity daily or 75 minutes of vigorously intense activity. And I'll show you on the next slide, excuse me, some examples of moderately intense activity compared to vigorously intense activity. Um, so, some examples of moderately intense activity: brisk walking, light yard work. Okay, it's that time of year. You might have to mow the grass, or um, well, it will count as moderate activity if you're using a push mower where you're walking. Not so much a riding lawnmower, unfortunately. Snow shoveling is a little tedious when it gets to that time of year. Um, Virtually intense activity. Some examples: running, jogging, swimming laps, cross country skiing, jumping rope, playing basketball, full court basketball, or soccer. So those are some examples and difference between moderately intense activity to vigorously intense activity. Uh, One good way to determine if you're engaged in a moderately intense activity, if you can carry on a normal conversation with someone while performing the activity without having to stop and catch your breath, that will be considered a moderately intense activity. Now, if you have to stop and catch your breath, that will be a good indication that you're involved in a vigorously intense activity. Oh, let's see. Let's see. This stuff is it's important to read. Um, Make sure you understand how to keep the weight off because it's very important. Sure, you can lose the weight, but it might be more important to keep it off. So those are some tips on how to keep the weight off. Eating disorders. So there's different eating disorders that I want you to know that people do encounter or are diagnosed with. Unfortunately, you got the first one is bulimia, and if someone is bulimic, if someone has bulimia, they'll eat regularly. They might eat a lot more, but then afterwards they'll purge by either induced vomiting or they will take a lot of laxatives and they'll go to the bathroom and diuretics to help them go to the bathroom, which is not good for them. So yeah, it's a psychiatric illness, and then you got anorexia. You might have heard of these before, but this is someone who is anorexic, who has anorexia nervosa, and has been diagnosed with it. They will eat very little, if any at all, every day, and they'll exercise a lot, so they don't gain weight, and they'll look very frail, very very thin, and you can search up images. A lot of times, you can visually tell someone has this condition, this illness, because they're very 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 frail. Yeah, hardly any body fat on them at all. Very very, but be warned, it's disturbing to see those images. Um, so yeah, and then you have binge eating disorder. This is where you may eat a lot of food, extreme overeating, followed by feelings of guilt, shame, and depression. You don't induce vomiting or anything like that. You don't take a lot of laxatives like you would if you're bulimic, but you just eat a lot of food and you you feel guilt. You feel guilty. You feel why did I eat all this food? Like why? You feel shame, embarrassed, and even to the point of depression. So individuals are often overweight or obese, and that's binge eating disorder. All right, now, so again, just make sure y'all know the different eating disorders that will be on the test. You have next is the nutrition facts label. On the left-hand side, you got the original label, and then the updated version on the right. You might notice some differences visually. Mainly the amount of calories is in bold, it's in larger font. Same for the serving sizes because experts, professionals, they wanted those two items to be highlight of the nutrition facts label so that you can easily see them. And you'll notice that there's some different micronutrients that are not listed anymore, and some have been subbed out and subbed in. So make sure you know how to read the nutrition facts label, what to look out for. And I encourage everyone, if you don't already, read the nutrition facts label when you purchase items from the store, because every food item has to, by law, have to have a nutrition facts label somewhere posted. Let's see. My plate. We didn't talk about my plate. How your plate, what you eat every meal, should look colorful. The more colors, the better. Vegetables, try to stay away from starchy vegetables like corn and potatoes. You want to lean more towards spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. You want to lean more towards those types of vegetables. And same thing, the more colors, the better. Grains, for grains, you want to stay away from white bread, white rice, and focus more on brown rice and whole wheat bread, whole grain breads, because it has more nutrients, more fiber, more iron. Protein, try to stay away from like 80-20 beef, full fat milk, um, full fat proteins that have a lot of fat content in it. If you're gonna have beef, I like I'll get a very lean beef. I think it's 93.7 beef, something like that. It's very lean with hardly any fat in it. But try not to consume a lot of pork. Of course, bacon. Bacon's excellent, but it's not good for you, unfortunately, if you have too much of it. Everything, of course, is good in moderation, but too much of pork or fatty beef or anything like that is not good for you. Try to consume more lean meats like fish, poultry, like chicken, turkey. Popular diets. Make sure y'all go over these popular diets. Dietary approach to stop hypertension. Low carb diets. You're basically limiting the amount of carbohydrates you consume. The main thing about this one is you can consume as much. It's just based on low carbohydrates. If it has low carbohydrates, then you're good to go. Which means I can consume as much bacon as I want. I can consume as much butter as I want. And margarine, which those items are not the best for you, but based on this diet, it does work because it's low carbohydrates. And then you have the Mediterranean diet, which is very, very good, very healthy. People in that side of the world, they're often considered very healthy because their normal diet consists of the Mediterranean diet. And then that DASH diet is the dietary approach to stop hypertension, especially trying to reduce the amount of sodium you consume. And this is a great diet because this is what you want to focus on. Or if you could follow this diet right here, where it's very high in fiber, fruits, whole grains, vegetables, moderate amounts of low-fat dairy products, lean meats, and heart healthy fish, then and that's like considered the gold standard diet. Because you're not limiting carbohydrates, you're not limiting fats. Okay. So hopefully it'll be maintainable. And if y'all are curious about the amount of carbohydrates you should be consuming per grams per kilogram of body weight, then it's all there. You got proteins and fats. So yeah, I mean that's it, y'all. And I'm sorry it's 21 minutes in length, but I just want to make sure y'all go over y'all understand everything. But that is it, y'all. As always, if y'all have questions, thank y'all for staying to the end of this video. If y'all have questions, let me know. Shoot me an email. I'll be gone this week on vacation, so and I'll come back on Friday, the 3rd. So I will send all that out in email, so y'all see it. But all right, y'all have a great day, great week, and I will talk to y'all soon. I'll be in touch.